welcome back to another episode of Burnt Coverage, Week 6 edition. I'm your host, Joel.
And I'm Curtis.
And we are, in case you are tuning in for the first time, welcome, you're late. We are your go-to source for daily and weekly fantasy play. We deal in prices, mainly the big boys, FanDuel and DraftKings, and we try to give you the best value plays to make you some money. Week 6, huh?
Yeah, week 6. I can't believe we made it this far. Thanks to our producers for continuing to pay for this show to be made.
And for showing up for the first time this month.
Yeah, and to our large staff as well for producing this for us.
Thanks, boys. And full disclosure, this week it's Mezcal. It's usually been Scotch, so
yeah,
God knows where this one's going.
And this week, as we did last week, we're going to give you a Thursday night preview.
We had so much positive feedback from last week's Thursday night preview.
We did. Some guy said, hey, you did a Thursday night show.
And it's true.
So we're going to do it again for that guy.
You asked for it.
Yeah, and I hope you get paroled really soon. So we have Atlanta versus New Orleans this week.
In New Orleans.
And so we have two dome teams going against each other. Both have had issues so far. But both have some guys that are really interesting. And
well, I think New Orleans has more issues than Atlanta at this point.
Well, I would say Atlanta's issues, even though they're undefeated, they almost lost to the Redskins.
Almost.
And then their top two receivers are hobbled. One of which probably is the best receiver in the game, Julio Jones. But also Hankerson has some issues too. He had a thumb injury going into last week, and he left with another injury. So
yeah, I don't think Julio practiced today, so that would worry me pretty severely.
So in that case, would you feel comfortable with any of the receivers or Matt Ryan playing?
No, I don't like Matt Ryan on the road, even though it is a dome. His home road splits are very different. So no, if any, I'm not. On paper, you want this to be a really good game, but I have a feeling it could be a very ugly game, which means that unknown guys could come to be the saviors. Devontae Freeman's been on the roll, so he'd probably be the only one. He's a little overpriced at this point, I think, for a Thursday night game, but outside of that, no, I'm steering clear.
Now, you told me earlier, actually, that you do have a guy on the Falcons that you like, tight end, actually.
Yes, I do. Jacob Temme, especially with Hankerson and Julio banged up. I think this could be a very big tight end game. New Orleans is historically terrible against playing any sort of defense, but especially against the tight end. And Temme had a strong game last week, and I think that success could continue. I mean, he's a nice safety blanket for Matt Ryan, for Matty Ice.
Yeah, actually, I like Temme and Devontae Freeman. I feel if you're going to play in a Thursday league and you don't play Devontae Freeman at this point, he's second in the league in rushing. He's tied with two other players, but he is second in the league in rushing.
And Temme's a nice play, actually, now that we're talking about it, because he is dirt cheap.
He's cheap.
Yeah. So Thursday night games they're a tricky bunch.
I mean, even a Temme floor of 3 catches and 30 yards, it's not going to completely ruin your ticket.
No. But he's got a higher ceiling this week than he's had in weeks past.
Mm-hmm. And he's obviously been good with quarterbacks before. Peyton, off the top of my head, is the one he's been good with. But Matt Ryan's a pretty good quarterback in his own right. And what about the New Orleans side of the ball? I told you about Willie Snead last week. Everybody's on the Willie Snead bandwagon now. Sorry, Joel. Everybody's now on it. I saw DraftKings pick of the week, Willie Snead. Yeah, it's not a secret anymore. We broke it here at Burn Coverage well before then. So now we have, once again, Willie Snead up against a questionable defense. He's certainly getting the targets and the yards, and he's still cheap. So I think he's probably the most obvious play in this matchup, unless you want to argue Devontae Freeman with all the other banged up players, that's fine. But Willie Snead's very cheap. And on the New Orleans side, what do you feel about Drew Brees this week against a bad Atlanta secondary?
I mean, I don't like the Brees play this week. He's very expensive this week, and I still think he's very, very hurt. I think he's just being Drew Brees and soldiering through some severe pain. I think it's very obvious just watching him get destroyed last week in Philadelphia. That he'll still make the throws, but they're not Drew Breesian throws.
Yeah, Drew Breesian. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's my word.
I got you.
Everybody knows what it means.
Yeah, Drew Breesian. I think.
Breesian.
Yeah, I've never heard it before, and I instantly knew what it meant. And then the running back situation's muddled at best in New Orleans.
Yes.
Ingram's looked well, but he hasn't broken 100 yards. He does get touchdowns here and there.
He's averaging like 3.1 a carry. He's not looked good at all.
Spiller's returning from injury. He's already had some big plays, and Kyrie Robinson's always a threat. So I'm not really comfortable playing any of those guys.
No, I mean it's a typical New Orleans offense where you don't know, and it's just a bad New Orleans, typical bad New Orleans offense. So they spread it around, but they just don't score a lot of points anymore.
But with Colston questionable and maybe out too, I think Snead's looking good. Cooks, still hasn't performed, even though everybody's wanted him to, and he was drafted like a guy that was going to perform. He hasn't, and Snead's took over. So, really, yeah, that would be my play in New Orleans.
If I want a shot in prayer, maybe this is a Brandon Coleman appearance this week.
Oh yeah, I like that. I haven't seen the prices. I didn't do my research on Coleman.
But he's bottom of the barrel.
He's had 1 touchdown, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a good pick. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this Thursday edition of Burnt Coverage. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Joel.
And we'll see you next time on the couch.
On the couch.